I'm Christine, the anxious beginner. And that's Palais, our fearless captain. Together, we've bought a 45-foot sailboat, and we're ready for an adventure.
When I got up this morning, I decided to let Palais sleep in and get us moving before the tide switched against us. And then the motor started doing this. We decided to go to the nearest fuel dock and top up our tanks just in case there's condensation. Once we left the fuel dock and the motor was warm, we no longer experienced the problem.
You can see all the current making the water choppy here. Some pretty strong currents. We just slowed down 2 knots, but we still are going 2 knots, and we just need to make it around the other side of this island, where we'll hang out in an hour or so, and then we'll head through Deception Pass at slack tide. It's been like a week since we've seen blue skies because of all of the smoke, and then after the smoke came the fog. And so this is the first blue sky that we've seen in a week. I was so excited this morning when I woke up and the visibility had cleared. It's been so long since there was good visibility. We are, you guys, we decided that we're gonna anchor in the middle of this bay. There's a little shell bit in the middle, and that's where we anchored. Why, you ask? Well, we were gonna just grab a mooring ball on Hope Island while we wait for slack tide to go through Deception Pass, but it's full. There's only like 3 mooring balls. There's boats on all of them. And we could go to the far end of the bay and anchor, but that's more far out of the way. So we decided to just be right on the shell bit, right in the middle. And it feels amusing to be anchored in the middle of the bay. It probably wouldn't be the choice if we were staying overnight, but since we're only going to be here for about an hour and a half, it's a lovely spot to enjoy the sunshine.
Mm-hmm. The sunshine's super nice.
It is so nice. We should get some lunch.
And a hammock. We need to get a hammock.
We need a hammock. So subscribe to our Patreon.
So we can buy a hammock.
So you can enjoy the sunshine. All right, we are headed towards Deception Pass, and it looks like we're right on schedule to hit slack tide. The wind picked up while we were sitting in our anchorage, but not too bad, only to 13 knots, which just like kicked up my anxiety a bit, but it's still good conditions, so we're still going through. And anything you want to add?
Going under a bridge.
Ah, yes, we're gonna go under a bridge. We've not been under one of those in a while. And we do know that we fit under it because we actually went under it around last year around the same time. We had purchased our boat here in this area. And in our very first major passage was bringing the boat back to Canada. And we went the same way through Deception Pass. So you might remember some of that footage. Hopefully the audio sounds better this time because we have a mic. And, but it's windier, so who knows? It is our first glimpses of the bridge over Deception Pass. Deception Pass is known for its quick currents. The currents in Deception Pass can get up to 8 knots, which is why we have to do it during slack tide, because otherwise we would just get thrown around. Now what we have is we've got a little bit of current against us as we're going into it, and right when we get there it should be slack tide, and then we should get a little bit of current with us going out. So that's the game plan. Hopefully we don't see any of those whirlpools or standing waves.
As we were approaching Deception Pass, the engine did the thing again where it lost RPMs. Not as bad as it did previously, but it seemed like a bad time to be going through Deception Pass when the engine's not working at 100%. So we pulled into the bay right beside Deception Pass. We're going to anchor here for the night, let the engine cool off a bit and change that oil filter, see what the old one looks like. pardon me, not oil filter, fuel filter. See what the old one looks like and swap it out, and then in the morning we'll go run the engine for half an hour or so, make sure everything's okay before we actually go through Deception Pass around noon tomorrow.
So, put off until tomorrow.
Time to change our fuel filter and inspect the old one. Give us what we have to have. He said we should have one. He bought us one the day we left Everett when we first picked up the boat. I don't know if this is going to be big enough. Oh, there, I got it. We replaced one of the fuel filters and found the manual priming pump, so hopefully it's full of fuel. But according to my father, often when you mess with the fuel system, you get air in the system. It takes a long time to start, so it can use a lot of battery. So I'm going to start our generator and actually turn on the battery charger before we try starting the engine, so that we won't hurt the batteries. Take two. First time we tried, generator ran out of fuel. So we'll try it again. So it took a few tries, but it started now and it's running now. I've idled it up a little bit, but I think we're going to put it in reverse and put a load on it and let it run for a few minutes, see what happens.
Alright, so we replaced the fuel filter and basically at anchor ran the motor in reverse to put some load on it to see if it would work, and nothing happened then. So our next step is to raise the anchor and basically just drive around here in circles in this area where we could drop the anchor if the motor dies. That's our next step. The thing that's really got me a little bit anxious is we are between two areas of really strong current. And so we just have to be mindful of that, because if we tried to go through either side, it could be too much for us. And so really just driving in circle right here where we can drop the anchor if we need to. And we're going to do that for about 30 minutes, and then it'll be time to depart and hit our slack tide to go through Deception Pass.
Cool.
So I'm feeling very anxious, so I'm going to listen to some meditation music while Pele drives around.
Let's draw some pictures on the chart plotter. Shortly after we revved the engine up to cruising RPMs, it did its surging thing again. So I guess we're gonna miss this tide through Deception Pass, and I'm gonna take apart the sediment trap on the fuel filter and check if it supposedly has a filter inside it. So I'll check that and see if it looks all right. If it is clogged up, maybe we'll just remove it until we can get it replaced. Let's do it. So we pulled the fuel filter from the sediment trap, and as you can see, it looks very dirty. And we were messaging Thomas, the previous owner of the boat. He was suggesting we could just pull that filter out, run without it until we get a replacement, as long as we do that quickly. But then Christine's magic memory, when she saw the old filter, remembered that in a box somewhere we have a spare. After replacing what I thought was the primary filter, the issue's still happening, and after consulting with Thomas, I'm pretty sure I just replaced the filter for the heater and not the filter for the engine. Unfortunately, what I think is the filter for the engine is much more difficult to access. We're going to have to remove these mattresses to get into that location. So, yay! Replaced yet another filter, which I think this time is actually the primary filter for the engine and not the primary filter for the heater. And then I took a break, relaxed for a bit. Now we're gonna weigh anchor once more, cross our fingers, see if we have any trouble.
Beautiful sunny evening. Basically 6 o'clock. We've got 2 knots still against us, but that rapidly changes. By the time that we get to that bridge, which is not that far away, we will probably have a little bit of current with us. So that 2 knots is drastically going to drop. Basically slack tide is very short, so you kind of have to start with a little bit against you. You can see the currents moving in various different directions as it goes through this narrow channel. The channel here is narrow and pretty deep, so the water coming in from the Strait of Juan de Fuca starts coming in, like I said, it can get up to 8 knots. Right now it's only doing, I think, probably just less than 2 knots now, and you can see just how much it's rippling on the top of the water. And it should continue to get calmer and calmer as we get closer to the bridge. The Deception Pass Bridge is where we're planning to hit exactly at slack, and then we'll have a little bit of current with us coming out the other side. Because we took this transit so late in the afternoon due to our engine troubles, we aren't going very far. We're actually just gonna go basically to the other side, and there's an anchorage on the other side where people wait to come through the other direction. So that's basically where we're going to be hanging out for tonight, and then tomorrow evening we'll make a little bit of a longer passage. We just basically want to go ahead and get anchored before dark and just relax. It's been a bit of a rough couple of days trying to figure out these engine troubles so we could get a move on. Now we are well short enough to go under this bridge, but you know, it's always a thing. Of Pele getting footage because I wanted to get some shots of him being a captain. Hey Pele, pretend like you're captaining this boat. Alright, the truth of the matter is he just put it on autopilot and went through like nothing. His skilled helmsmanship got us through the Deception Pass. Autopilot. I'm just kidding.
The whole way? A few wiggles when the current moved this back and forth. Did it work?
Alright, so tell us the truth. Did you have it on autopilot the whole way, or did you hand steer your way through Deception Pass?
I had it on autopilot the whole way, but I was constantly adjusting the autopilot.
That's how you like to steer, though.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I like to be like more hands-on, but you just like
I like
push
to
the button.
I like to finger steer.
Yeah. All right. And because we made it through Deception Pass, over there is the north side of the Strait of Juan de Fuca, and then over here is the Rosario Strait. And that's where we'll be crossing tomorrow. Tonight, we're going right into this little cove here. You can see my mast on the rocks. We're tall. Also, the whole bay is about 12 feet deep. And we have a draft of 8 feet, so just something to be mindful of. There is a negative tide tomorrow, but it's only like negative 0.6, so we should be good as long as we watch our depths. Man, this bay looked really amazing to hang out in tonight, but unfortunately we only have 1 bar of cell phone reception, and that is just not enough for Palais to work. So we are going to have to push on tonight to Spencer's Spit. So we are going to arrive after dark, and we haven't really done any night sailing together or night motoring, so there's no wind. It's super calm and glassy, as you can see. So we are going to push on, and I guess we'll get a nice sunset motor. Here's to an adventure.
If you liked this video, hit the thumbs up. And if you want to join us on the next adventure, hit subscribe.